hits to the bucket. Layup, Johnson, good!
All right, welcome everybody. It's Talkin Sports with me, Chris Powers. Marty's in the house, Jonathan in the house. We're going to have fun here because it's College World Series. My goodness gracious. I don't call it the Men's College World Series. We all know it's the Baseball College World Series, and that's what, it is in Omaha, Nebraska. The Women's Softball, World Series is one thing. I don't say the WCWS or anything like that. Sound like I'm trying to talk about some TV station or something, or radio station. But no, it's the World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. It doesn't get any better than this. It's absolutely unbelievable, and we're going to be talking about that throughout the show, no question about that. Getting ready for the rest of this week's game and possibly for the national championship game, which will be on Saturday. But let's talk about LSU first. In the driver's seat at 2-0, that's absolutely unbelievable. This team is starting out great, 2-0. The teams that start off 2-0 have won 27 of the last 33 national championships. That's pretty impressive. Now, the teams that start 0-1 have won the national championship 13 times. And we're talking about the Arkansas Razorbacks, who are playing against the LSU Tigers tonight. We're taping this show on a Wednesday. They're playing tonight for the right to go to the championship round. Now, if LSU loses the game today, they play again on Thursday. That's the winner that goes to the national championship round. They'll have the Friday off, and then Saturday is the national championship round. It starts on Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, and then on Monday. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But the last team that won the national championship starting out 0-1 was Oregon State at 2018, and South Carolina did it for their first time. They won their national championship in 2010. Now, in the first game, LSU looked absolutely unbelievable. Cade Anderson, absolutely just perfect. He did a great job. LSU got off to a 3-0 start with Stanfield's single as LSU went on to win 4-1. LSU out-hit Arkansas 6-4 in that game. Cade Anderson was absolutely perfect. He's been that way all season long. He did an absolute job. He he's 11-1 on the season, man. The guy is unbelievable. He allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings pitched and only 1 run. That was absolutely unbelievable. And actually, Thursday, he is just unbelievable. That's why he's going to be picked in the Major League Baseball draft in the top 10. Some say it's number 1, some say it's number 5, some say it's in number 7. Nobody knows. Only the teams know where they're going to pick him and what have you. But I think he'll be ready for Game 1 Saturday if needed. Could he come out of the bullpen if the game goes to Thursday? Possibility, but you got to remember they got to think about the championship round if they make. But you got to make it to there first. But we'll see what happens. Again, Coach Jay Johnson said this in his press conference last night. He's saying you can't think too far ahead in the World Series. You can't think too far ahead. He knows who his pitcher is going to be. As of right now, we're taping this show. There's no word on who the pitcher is going to be for tonight. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a moment as well. But how about Monster Milam? Is he having an unbelievable, not only just World Series, but tournament, period. NCAA tournament, super regionals, what have you. He's batting .444 from the regional, super regional, end of the College World Series. He's 12 for 27, folks, with 12 RBIs. This guy is on fire right now. The shortstop is just absolutely on fire. Jared Jones struck out 5 times in that game against Arkansas, and he kept battling. He kept batting in the batting cages after that game was over, and he went 2 for 4 against UCLA, including a 3-run home run that barely cleared the fence. In fact, didn't go over the fence. It just cleared over the yellow line. And with that, we need him to be, playing good. He was in the 5-hole spot, and I think that's a perfect spot for him. He needs to be in the 5-hole spot. Anthony Edwinson went 3 innings, gave up 3 runs and 4 hits. Second straight start, he struggled. He struggled for a second straight start. But remember, he came out of that regionals against West Virginia, super regionals, and came out of the bullpen and locked it down. Could he do that tonight? Because he only pitched 3 innings in that game against UCLA on Monday. Could he come in tonight and possibly, come out of the bullpen tonight to save the game? But again, you got to think down the line. How many innings you're going to pitch? But to be in the World Series, first of all, like Jay Johnson said in his press conference, and it's been this way all throughout the years, you got to have a deep pitching staff. If you don't have a deep pitching staff, you're not going far. That's just the bottom line. So I think he's going to be well. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. Jonathan, as of now, like I said, we're taping this show. I haven't heard who the starting pitcher is going to be. What say you? Who do you think it's going to be?
Oh, tough question, Chris. Wow, it's right out the gate. Great to see you back here. Been a great College World Series first. Yeah, would obviously love to get more than 3 innings out of Ianson, but as he said, in between games, that he's used to throwing 45-pitch bullpens during a week, getting ready for a start on the weekend. So he will be back to pitch, especially if this game goes into tomorrow, Thursday. If he does come today out the bullpen, I would assume that would be his role somewhere late in the game. Everybody's pretty much available, I think, besides Anderson, Evans, and Ianson for today. That gives you Chase Shores, that gives you Cooper Williams. Zach Cowan hasn't pitched yet, so really it's all hands on deck, as you know. Got to win this one to get to the next one. LSU wants to win this game, doesn't want to go to another day closer in rest to Gage Wood, who had a phenomenal appearance in his game he pitched. Obviously, the no-hitter, the first time since 1960. And some of that had to do with Murray State, no doubt. Didn't have great at-bats against the pitcher that had the rising fastball. And, look, if you're asking me who I think is going to start, I really don't know, Chris. That's a tough question. Yeah. So many arms. Haven't seen a lot of Maverick Rizzi in the postseason. The 6'9" freshman throws hard.
Right.
I would assume Zach Cowan's right in the mix right there. Haven't seen him yet, and it's been one of the most reliable arms for LSU so far this season.
Besides Chase Shores with 9 starts, the next guy after that is Jaden Newt. That's who I kind of think is going to start, but he may have a short leash. Now, Chase Shores got the save yesterday, but he hadn't pitched much in the 2 games that they've played. So I think there's a possibility you could see Chase early because Chase did pitch against Arkansas when they played in the regular season. So you could see Chase Shores again, and obviously we all know he gets over 100 miles on his fastball. So we could see that. He has 9 starts this year, 21 appearances and 9 starts. But it'll be interesting to see who he brings in. I got a feeling it could be Newt. Rizzi hadn't a start all year. He's come in 24, but you could see him early on. I think it could be a pitching by committee today for tonight's game. And if LSU can win that game, then the Tigers go on to the national championship round. So they have Thursday and Friday off, 2 days off, getting ready. And that will be perfect up their road. And LSU is the home team, by the way, too, tonight.
Yep.
Arkansas is the road team. Now, a visiting team. Vice versa tomorrow. If the game goes to tomorrow, LSU will be the visiting team. Arkansas will be the home team. So I'd rather get it done tonight, obviously. Out of everybody, Arkansas scares me because they're very close to LSU. They have a better batting average than LSU, and they almost have the same ERA than we do. I think we have a deeper ERA in pitching than they do, but that scares me a little bit. Those guys scare me a little bit, but I'll tell you this. This team is looking good right now. Kason Evans looked great again in his start. There's no question he's going to be the star of the pitching staff next year. He pitched 4 1/3 innings, allowed 4 hits and 2 runs with 5 strikeouts. He did well. Chase Shores came in, as we mentioned, for the save. Jake Brown. I think you have 2 players on this baseball team that are good leadoff batters, Jonathan. I think Jake Brown is a good leadoff batter. I think the best leadoff batter to me, though, is come on. Curiel. I mean, that guy, he is going to be a Major League Baseball leadoff hitter.
No doubt.
You can see and I'll show you that like next week. We'll break it down and show you in slow motion. You can see it's like the ball's coming over soft for him, and he just knows where to put the ball in the right spot. I mean, he is a perfect leadoff hitter. But Jake Brown shows he can do it well. He had 3 hits. In that game. Stephen Milam, as we mentioned, he had 2. Jared Jones had 2. And Jonathan, I don't know about you, but for me, okay, so when I played, and it was a long time ago, I think, way back in the day, Babe Ruth was one of my teammates.
Right.
When I played, I was always on successful teams that never won a championship. So my last year, which was in 7th grade that I played for this league, Dixie Youth, that there was a coach that I always wanted to play with. I always had respect for him. He begged me to come every year to play on his team, and I never did. So finally the last year I did go play for him, and because he won championships. I never did. So I wanted to go play for him, and I did. But when I signed the deal to go play with him, when I agreed to go play with him, he had a policy to where you could not swing unless the first strike happened. I got a feeling that Jay Johnson's kind of like that. Do you feel that same way? It seems like this team is very patient at the plate.
Yeah.
and they let the first strike go by before they start, okay, now it's the green zone. I mean, I haven't watched it closer to see, because that's something I just thought of last night. It looks like that's kind of the way, right?
I'm assuming in some situations, depending on what the game dictates, that Coach Jay Johnson does take till you get a strike. Not for his guys that have been there for 4 years. Josh Pearson's not getting take the first strike. Barry Jones does not have to take the first strike. Derek Curiel, he's got the green light even though he's a freshman because his elite plate discipline. We saw Barry Jones swing a 3-0 pitch yesterday and ground out to the third baseman. And that stinks. If it's anybody else, you kind of yell at him, fuss at him. But Coach Jay Johnson really has faith in his players. He talks about their skill, but he talks about their elite plate discipline, how they try to hit mistakes, hit the balls that are hard to the plate, and they shrink the strike zone. And if they can do that, they really work good at-bats and pass it along to the next guy. And at this point of the season, it's only about winning. Your personal accolades don't really matter. If you go 4 for 4, your team loses, your season's still over. So everybody's pulling the same direction. They really just want to get the game won. And, the at-bats have been great so far. It starts with Curiel. He's been a table setter the entire season. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't swing at balls a lot of times. He waits for the strikes, shrinks his zone, and he does hammer mistakes. Gets on base. And you mentioned Jake Brown. And the sophomores on this team have really carried the torch. There is great leadership in Barry Jones, in Josh Pearson, but Jake Brown, Ashton Larson, the Monster Milam, you go through the list. The young guys on this team have really carried the torch and set a great foundation for moving forward for LSU baseball.
No question about that. And changing of the lineup.
Yep.
I mean, I don't believe in that, but it works for Jay Johnson. It works. The only batter that was in the right position that never got out of that position was Ethan Fry, batting second. Everybody else changed. I'm not a fan of that, but it works for Jay Johnson, so you do it. I think Correll should be the number 1 hitter. There's no question. I think Ethan Fry right there is good as the number 2 hitter. And I think Jared Jones at number 5 because he's struggling so much, but he seems to be hopefully coming out of this. We thought when he came out, when he hit in the regionals, that home run, that he would be out of it, but he got back in it. But he's struggling. And how crazy is that he struggles right before he's about to go to Major League Baseball?
Yeah, and Chris, you really have to give Barry Jones a lot of credit. I mean, the guy struck out 5 times, stayed after the hit. And this is a guy that turned down the Major Leagues last year to come back to LSU for his last year eligibility. Coach Jay Johnson speaks very highly of the person he is, the leader he is. This team's very close. They hold Bible studies together. Josh Pearson leads most of that. Very faith-based, very faith-oriented. And there's no selfishness. I mean, you get bumped from 2nd to 5th, and you just hope the team wins. It's been a special group. It starts with the parents. Obviously, you got to see a lot more of this group as they've gone to Omaha and had all the off-the-field stuff. And, the parents get interviewed by national media. So I know these kids come from great families, and it's just great to see them finally get to Omaha and finish their season, hopefully at the top. But this has been a great experience for all these purple and gold.
Yeah, no question about that. And I think it's great, and there's no question about that. I was kind of shocked to see the empty seats yesterday in the stadium. Also empty seats in an Arkansas game, too.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked at that. And we'll talk more about that, about the College World Series itself. When we come back, we're talking sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house, Marty's in the house, back after this timeout. Talking sports with Chris Powers, back after this on Pelican Sports TV.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouget. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouget today.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as we're talking sports with me, Chris Powers. College World Series, it's a great event. Omaha, Nebraska, there's no doubt about that. Every year it's there. It's been there for a long time. Arkansas, it's just absolutely great. There's no question about that. All right, let's talk about who's done this and all that stuff. As you know, that Arkansas, everyone's talking about Cage Wood. Through the third no-hitter in College World Series history and the first since 1960. Are you kidding me? Murray State was everybody's Cinderella, but they went 2 in barbecue. They're gone. Coastal Carolina in bracket 1 is 2-0. Remember, they beat Arizona in game 1 as Arizona is the other team that is gone after 2. They then beat Oregon State 4-3. Louisville then eliminated Oregon State, so that means that Louisville will play against Coastal Carolina today. That game starts at 12 noon as we're taping this as well here today. Coastal Carolina, this is their second trip to the College World Series. As you know, they beat LSU in the Super Regional in 2016 here in Baton Rouge. They then went on the first game in the College World Series to beat University of Florida. They were the number 1 team in the nation at that time. They eventually beat Arizona. And guess who, by the way, was coach of Arizona when they won that game? And that series, right? That's right. Jay Johnson was the coach of that. So LSU plays Arkansas tonight at 6 p.m. Ought to be a big game. LSU is 79-45 against Arkansas. And get this, Jonathan, they're 4-0 in College World Series history against Arkansas. 4-0.
Yeah, so hopefully it doesn't mean that Arkansas is due, right?
Right.
And, you mentioned the empty seats yesterday for the 10 o'clock resume of LSU, UCLA. I thought Coach Jay Johnson, who I think a lot about him. He's very intentional with everything he does. He's very detail-oriented. But in the post-game press conference that they did put away UCLA, he said, he's the luckiest coach in the game because his fans, will stay through a rain delay. They had 4 games that, ended right around 1 o'clock in the morning. He said, but they got to work on their alarm clocks because the send-off was a little light at 7:45. So obviously, he was joking. The LSU fans have been great. Rocco's has been busting. 20,000 Jello shots already for the LSU faithful. Gordon sent Will Hammers down there, 888 per day for 5 days now. So it's been a great experience. And look, all that time the freshmen had to play last year out of necessity has only, turned over a great yield for LSU. When push comes to shove, these young guys have really carried the torch, and looking forward to what's coming here against Arkansas. And hopefully LSU can get it done today, but if not, they have plenty of pitching come Thursday.
Yeah, no question about that. LSU also has dominated the recent matchups, regular season matchups against Arkansas. They've won 15 of the last 20 and 9 of the last 13 SEC regular season series versus the Razorbacks. LSU's batting average is .298 on the year. Arkansas's .310. LSU's ERA is 3.79. Arkansas's 3.85. So they have a better batting than we do. So we have to be careful about that. And get this, Jonathan, this kind of shocked me a little bit. But LSU is 2-0 in the College World Series for the first time since 2009.
Yep.
When they won the College World Series, obviously, that year. They were a national championship. So, again, nobody knows who's going to start. Jay Johnson was asked that last night. He says he's going to think about it because at that point, yesterday afternoon he was asked that. Because at that point they didn't know if Arkansas was going to be the team or not, who was going to be able to play. It just depends. I think he knew in his mind who was going to be the starter. Because and he probably will make that decision here in the next few minutes. It'll probably come out in just the next few minutes. He'll call Arkansas's coach and let him know, and vice versa, and go from there. But hated the rain delay, like Jay Johnson says. He was asked by a reporter about that. He says there's nothing he can control, obviously. He can't, can't handle things he can't control, and you can't control that. LSU's gone through 17 rain delays in the regular season.
Yep.
They played 4 games when it comes past midnight and what have you. So that's great. Now the biggest crowd so far, and I believe this will probably be matched or beat tonight, is the LSU-Arkansas first game at 25,464 for this year. That's the biggest crowd they've had. The biggest crowd ever, Jonathan, was 2015 when LSU played TCU.
Huh.
And LSU and TCU crowd had 28,846 in the stands.
Wow.
Unbelievable. 2023, by the way, when LSU won 2 years ago, the College World Series set an all-time overall session attendance with 392,646. That was 24,559 per game for their session. That was pretty unbelievable. Nice crowds. The Louisville-Oregon State game had 24,963. LSU-UCLA, before the rain happened, was 24,623 from that. So they were not bad. Game 1 of the finals is Saturday at 6 p.m. on ESPN. Game 2 is on Sunday at 1:30 on ABC.
Yep.
So it'll be on national TV. And the reason for that is they can't put it on ESPN on Sunday night because of the contract for Sunday Night Baseball. And by the way, I don't know if you knew this. You know that Major League Baseball is done with ESPN after this year.
I did not know that.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah, and right now they have not announced what network they're going to. I know the NBA has already announced they're going to be on NBC next year.
Right.
And the ESPN as well. But, ESPN has lost Major League Baseball, and they say it's a mutual decision. So we don't know. And then Game 3, if necessary, 6:30 p.m. on ESPN. So only one game in the afternoon. That'll be that Sunday game at 1:30, and it's on national TV, so that'll be interesting. Your thoughts so far, the College World Series overall, have you liked what you've seen so far?
Yeah, it started with Murray State, the Cinderella story. Everybody felt good about it for the NIL culture and climate of college sports in general. But you could see they were outclassed. They did do a great job in their super, taking down Duke, who was a very good team. But no-hitters don't happen in College World Series for a reason. The teams are just way too talented, and they've been there before. These are semi-pro players that are choosing to further their academic careers. So hate to see him get no hit. Obviously, that's history for Arkansas. Gage Wood, he'll remember that for the rest of his life, and it's a great story. His parents raised him to be an Arkansas baseball fan. They're from the area, so that's a great story for Arkansas. LSU, can't say enough about what they've done the entire season, really, but getting down to the postseason, you see how intentional their at-bats are, starting 1 through 9. The transfers, the freshmen, you mentioned it. This has been a team that was put together in the offseason, but it was years in the making. And Coach Jay Johnson talks about his relationship with the Curiel family, how he's been talking to him since the 7th grade, and the same with Stephen Milam. These are kids that Jay Johnson has long histories with, and that's what it takes to get kids out of the pro draft and into your college program. So very pleased with what I've seen with the pitching development at LSU. Of course, this is where you want to come to Baton Rouge if you want to develop to a pro pitcher, and they've proven it season in and season out. A lot of people had questions about Nate Yeske early in his time at LSU, but he's proven all the doubters wrong. He's done a great job for Coach Jay Johnson. And looking forward to competing for another championship. It's been a great experience. Obviously, Paul Skeens, Livy Dunn all over the tube, along with all those great parents as LSU players. And it's been great baseball, Chris. I mean, you've seen some of the best shortstops in the country absolutely get to shine out there in Omaha. And Stephen Milam obviously is one of those cats. These guys have been playing baseball a long time. Happy to see them have success on the biggest stage. Yeah,
no question. And the good news for us, we're not going to see Root again.
Yeah.
And because he's now pitched twice.
Right.
We're not going to see Woods. Woods pitched that whole game.
Yep.
And had 19 strikeouts, of course, a no-hitter, almost had the perfect game. We're not going to see Woods again. So they're in the same situation. I told you earlier, they have a little bit worse pitching staff than we do. Not by much. They still have a deep pitching staff, but not as good as we are. Our pitchers are a little bit deeper. How crazy was that when you saw that? I don't know if you heard that LSU had 200 more strikeouts than UCLA.
Yep.
And UCLA was a pretty good pitching staff.
Yep.
So we're not going to see Woods. We're not going to see Root again. That's great. We ran Root out in the 1 1/3 of an inning?
1 2/3, yep.
Yeah, 1 2/3 innings. So we're not going to see them again. So they're in the same boat as we are, but maybe worse. We may have the advantage of that in pitching. I think you're going to see a pitching. I think today you're going to see, in the game tonight at 6 o'clock, I think you're going to see pitching by committee for LSU. possibly for both teams too, by the way. So
Yeah.
that'll be interesting to see how that happens.
Yeah, and I agree. And Coach Jay Johnson really understands it's, get one out at a time. It's about matchups, and he will play the cards. No doubt in my mind. As soon as the rain delay happened, he got with his assistant coaches, and they mapped out every scenario they could possibly have of who they would use in Game 3, Game 4, Game 5. So, yeah, have trust in Coach Jay Johnson, that coaching staff. They're prepared for almost everything. He keeps a big notebook of every possible contingency plan. So they'll be prepared, and they'll be ready to execute and go win a game.
No question about that. We'll continue with more. We're talking with sports with me, Chris Powers, Jonathan in the house. Marty's in the house right here on Pelican Sports TV.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreysstoneCountryClub.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're talking sports with me, Chris Powers here, and want to talk about the WNBA right now. And let me tell you this, they've got to fix their problems. I mean, I don't know what this commissioner is doing, what she's doing every day of her job, if she even doing her job. I don't know what she's doing, but she better step up to the plate and do something, period, because you know what the cash cow is right now. It's Caitlin Clark. When Caitlin Clark was hurt this year, the TV audience dropped 50%. 50%. You know who the cash cow is. So I'm not saying take care of her, but I'm thinking you took care of Michael Jordan in the NBA, took care of Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, because they knew who the cash cow was. They know who the favorite player is. I'm not saying whatever, but what Caitlin Clark is going through and what happened yesterday is they're beating her up. I mean, how long is she going to have where they keep beating her up? And, Sue Bird came out just a couple of days ago and said everybody's coming out and saying it's a race problem right now in the WNBA. Now it is now. No, it's been that way, she said. The black players treat the white players different than they treat anybody else, and they try to kill them because they feel it's their league. And I don't want them to think that way. I want them to be able to play and just enjoy it and have fun because it's fun to watch, especially Caitlin Clark. It's fun to watch. It is fun to watch. And if the refs and the commissioners don't get a control of this, and that's what the Indiana coach said yesterday. How do you expect us not to do what we're doing? Because the refs are not doing their job. There's hair pulling, there's knocking them down. You could see the intentional fouls like it's not even funny. Flagrant fouls like crazy. I think they should be kicking people out eventually. You've got to take control of this because right now you've got a perfect spot to keep the people watching. And if you don't do this right, they're not going to watch anymore. If they want to watch wrestling, they'll watch WWE. They're not watching you. And if you don't take care of this, it's going to get out of hand big time. And Caitlin Clark seems to be the one that's getting beat up the most. They don't like her, but I'm sorry. She's hitting from the logo, guys. She's hitting threes from the logo. She's killing you. She is unbelievable. If Indiana can get a few more players that could play with her, they'd be dominating in sports. They'd be dominating. They dominated yesterday against UConn, or Connecticut, I should say. But it's just absolutely unbelievable to watch that. You've got a prize opportunity right now. You've got the crowd watching. Take care of this right now or you're going to lose it. And they're only watching. The commissioner can't come out and say, okay, they're watching all of our products. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're watching Caitlin Clark. They're watching Caitlin Clark. And if you don't think that, then you're stupid. You should not be a commissioner. You should go bag groceries somewhere at Winn-Dixie because that's stupid. They're watching Caitlin Clark. Now, you can grow it from that. The NBA, the finals were on a cut-in situation and a tape delay in some ways before Larry Bird and Magic Johnson made it popular. They're the pioneers in a way. I know, there was Dr. J and all of those guys before that, Elgin Baylor and all that. I understand that. But when Larry Bird and Magic Johnson started, that rivalry that started in college basketball for the national championship game carried over when it came into the NBA, and people was watching like crazy. I was a big fan back then, huge fan of the Celtics and all of their team. And Robert Parrish was from, of course, Shreveport area, Louisiana, so I was pulling for him big time. And they took care of those players. But now you're looking at this, the WNBA, you have a golden opportunity. You have a golden ticket. And don't lose it because you're going to lose it. And if you do, that's your fault. That's your stupidity. NBA, hey, same thing going on with that. TV ratings are the lowest have been since 2020. That was the COVID year, 2020. Indiana and Oklahoma City, they have, of course, they're small cities, small market cities. They're trading blows. Right now it's a 3-2 lead for Oklahoma City. They can win the world championship tomorrow on a Thursday from Indiana, or Indiana could tie the series to make it to go to Game 7. The average for the first 3 games of this was $8.95 million. $8.95 million. That's not very good at all. That's a championship. That's a 23% decline from 2024. That was Boston and Dallas. They have bigger markets, obviously. Now, Game 4 saw a little uptick. They peaked at $11.54 million by 11 p.m. So it got a little bit better at that time. I really, honestly, have never thought Adam Silver was a good commissioner. I think he's a good CEO, maybe a smart business guy. I don't know, but he's not a creative mind. He's got to be like the NFL. NFL, everything they touch, the NFL touches, is gold except for the All-Star game. And they can't do a good job on that, and I can't blame them. Players don't want to get out there and go play and get hurt, and their season is in jeopardy because of an Achilles tendon heel or what have you, whatever. You can't do that. So I understand you're not going to get a good All-Star game. They're trying everything they can. But for the draft, it's a big, people go from everywhere. I mean, it's a big event. For the trade deadline, it's huge. It gets tremendous coverage. For the Super Bowl, everything they touch is unbelievable, and the ratings keep going up. Adam Silver has got to do something to market his product better than what he's doing, and especially small market teams like Oklahoma City and, of course, Indiana. He's got to do a better job of doing this because he's not doing a good job right now, period. Also, I mean, they're shooting too many three-pointers. That's all the whole game is about. They're shooting – Boston Celtics, my friend Gary was telling me today, in one of the finals last year, they missed – Jonathan, get this. They didn't shoot. They missed 64 three-point shots. 64 misses. Larry Bird was asked that just a few days ago. What do you need to do? He said he needs to move the three-point shot back. Maybe almost where Steph Curry is shooting, to where he can be the only one to shoot that threes. They got to bring – that's the one good thing I like about this matchup, Indiana and Oklahoma. They're not big three-point shooting teams. They move it in the perimeter. They want big guys. They want to be able to use their, in the paint. They want to be able to get shots in the paint and what have you. I think that's the only thing that I like about this series. Now, I'm watching because of my friend in Oklahoma City, and I'm pulling for them to win a world title. But, man, I think NBA needs to do something. Have you watched any of the NBA Finals?
Very little, Chris, if I'm being honest.
Yep.
A rough time right through the College World Series. Obviously, postseason baseball, that's taken most of my attention. So I have seen very little of NBA. I did watch Caitlin Clark's return with the Fever when they played the Liberty, and she was shooting from the logo. And, made 3 threes in like 43 seconds or something like that and gave the Liberty their first loss of the season. Yeah, I know a lot of eyes were on that ball game, Chris.
Yeah, I tell you, Caitlin Clark, I love watching her play.
Yeah.
I love watching her play. Speaking of not watching it much, I'm not a big NHL guy. But I'll be honest with you, if New Orleans gets it, I'd like to go see it because I've watched the minor league hockey teams here in Baton Rouge, and it was fun to watch. I can only imagine NHL. Yeah. The Florida Panthers last night won back-to-back NHL championships for the last night's win over Edmonton. So you want to take a guess, Jonathan, when the last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup?
2015.
1993.
Come on.
No, isn't that crazy?
No.
1993 is the last time a Canadian team has won the NHL Stanley Cup.
Wow.
Unbelievable. And it started there.
Right.
Indoor hockey started in Canada in 1875. Wow. I could not believe that. So Edmonton had an opportunity last night to do it. They have 7 franchises in NHL that are from Canada, and they haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1993.
Wow.
That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Florida Panthers, they play in Miami. If Miami can have Miami got one snowstorm in the history of its city. So if Miami can have an NHL team, why can't New Orleans, right? Would you go?
I went to a brass game back in the day. I enjoyed it, but I can't say I'd hold season tickets for a hockey team.
I wouldn't even know. I don't know any. I know when you score, you hit the puck into the into the net, you score. But offsides, ice, facing, I don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know any of that stuff. But hey, I'd watch it if New Orleans gets a team. I'll watch it. I stopped watching the NBA for the longest time after the Michael Jordan era and what have you. But I kind of started watching the Pelicans if they'd be halfway good.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Hey, the Vegas Knights got the expansion team, and I think like the next year, 2 years later, they win the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. So, hey, it could happen.
Yeah, it could very well happen. I hope it does. Speaking of baseball, Rafael Devers was from the Boston Red Sox, and I'm a Red Sox fan. I like to watch the Red Sox. He got traded to San Francisco, and some people, Red Sox fans, are going crazy about it. And I know they've traded a lot of their players, Mookie Betts, which I didn't like. They traded that to the Dodgers. They traded Sale to the Atlanta Braves. I know that. And, of course, way back in the day, I don't know if you remember this, but, or heard this deal, but Red Sox actually had Babe Ruth.
The curse of the Bambino.
That's it, the curse of the Bambino, right. But, the thing I'll say about Devers, and I don't blame the Henry family at all. I'd have done the same thing.
Yeah,
You
agree.
cannot dictate to me you're not going to play.
Yep.
So at the beginning of the season, they got Bregman. And because Bregman's a Golden Glove at third baseman.
Yep.
Devers was not a very good third baseman defensively. Good home run guy, but not a good third baseman. So you get Bregman, and you can put Bregman at that spot. And I understand that. I agree to that. So Devers did not want to do that. He went to the media, talked about this and that. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Finally, they convinced him to be a DH. And they paid him $331 million 2 years ago.
$300 million.
Yeah, and so they committed to him. You got to be committed to me now.
Yep.
And you do what I tell you to do. I'm not, I think one time LeBron James says NFL owners are like slave owners. No. It's like slave guys. No. That's your boss. If you'd be in the today's world and everyday's world and not in fantasy land, that's your boss. Yeah. He gets to tell you what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So you give me $331 million. If you need me to change the toilet seats or whatever, I'll do that. I'll do what you want me to do. $331 million? Are you kidding me? And that's guaranteed money too, by the way. So anyway, I don't blame him doing that. So they want him to play DH, so he did. So then they want him to play first base.
First base, right.
First base. He said no.
Yep.
He said no. Remember a guy named Bryce Harper?
I do.
Philadelphia Phillies? He volunteered to play first base.
Yep.
That guy won a World Series. Then obviously Bregman got hurt. Nobody said anything about him playing at third base because he probably already told him, no, I'm not playing third base. Yep. So they traded him to the San Francisco Giants, and all of his contract is gone.
Yep.
And then they get a few players after that. But I'm going to tell you this. I would have done the same. I'm not upset.
Yeah.
I'm not upset at all. You don't tell me what you're going to dictate do. We give you $331 million. Like I said, you do what we tell you to do. That's the bottom line. He should have done that. You cannot win. Baseball is not an individual sport. It's not tennis, boxing, or golf. It is a team sport. I'm not going to put one player ahead of the others. Now, if he's a superstar, and he's a good hitter, you want to take as much care of him as you can, but you don't put him above everybody else. And that's what he wanted to do, and I've got no problem with him going. I got no problem with him going at all. At all. I mean, I know you feel the same way. I can hear you saying the same thing.
Yeah, and absolutely, Chris. And just think about this. If you paid Devers $1 million for every home run, and he had 50 home runs a year, which Devers probably not going to do in a single year, it's definitely not the next 6 years. It would take him 6 years to get $300 million worth of home runs. So, yeah, you're not going to dictate if you're going to play third, first. With that kind of money, you mentioned it. I mean, you should sit on the bench, hold the water bucket, throw BP, whatever they need you to do for $330 million. You could probably make it work.
Yep. Now he told San Francisco yesterday in the press conference, introductory press conference, I'll do whatever y'all want me to do. I'll play any position you want me to play. Yeah, now, now, because I can tell you, you're not going to keep doing this. I don't blame him at all. I'd have suspended him, I would have suspended him and say, either get your stuff without pay. You either get your stuff straight or, buddy, you're out.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'll hold you. I'll hold on to you, and you won't play baseball for years. But again, he gets the money though.
Yep.
Because you've got obviously he's protected with the union. CBS Sports comes up with the top 100 players for 2025. 4 LSU players in the top 30. You got Jamar Chase. You've got, of course, Burrow. You've got Jefferson, and you've got Stingley. No Saints players in the top 100. Are you giving and most people are saying the Saints and Cleveland will be last. Saints last in the NFC, Cleveland last in the AFC. Are you giving them any chance at all this year, Saints?
I mean, any chance at all, as in they're going to not win a game. I think they'll compete in the NFC South. NFC South is not good. Top to bottom, it's the worst division in football. If you look at the skill positions, it seems on paper that the other 3 teams in the division do have a better skill set. But this is unproven for the Saints, especially if Tyler Shuck comes out and lights the world on fire. Yeah, the Saints have a very experienced, veteran, riddled roster that knows how to win football games. And Kellen Moore, if he's creative with the offense, Alvin Kamara can get some more tread on his tire, and then just, play action fake and find the seam. The Saints are going to be able to compete in the NFC South. I'm not writing them off to where they're going to go ahead and win 10 games, but I think they will be competitive in the NFC South. I think they'll beat the Falcons at least once because that's the Saints are good for it every single year. When the Falcons are really good, the Saints seem to have their number. So the Bucs may be a different story, but the Falcons, I have faith the Saints will take at least one. Same with the Panthers. So they'll be right there in the NFC South. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but I do think it's going to be competitive.
Some Saints fans saying we could be last place and get Arch Manning for next year. First of all, I don't think Arch is leaving next year.
Right.
I think Arch is going to stay 2 years at Texas. First of all, he's got most NIL money in all of college sports. And I think, secondly, the Mannings are classier than that. They're going to want him to get good and established, get a good year under, unless he goes and dominates this year and wins the Heisman Trophy.
National championship. Right.
Yeah, he's going to stay another year. And then wouldn't that be crazy if the Mannings did something like they did with San Diego with Eli? He couldn't live in New Orleans anymore.
Right.
Archie would have to move, and Peyton and Eli wouldn't be able to come back to New Orleans at all. Here's some good news. Speaking of New Orleans, Churchill Downs has made a last-minute deal to keep the management deal for the fairgrounds in New Orleans. That's good news because it looks like they were gone. And if they would have been gone, Benson would have bought at least the management for the fairgrounds because it's one of the oldest tracks in the nation.
Yep.
And I think with Churchill Downs still managing it, they could always probably have a horse, the winner of the Louisiana Derby, always have a horse in the Kentucky Derby.
Right.
I think if they came out and it was a bad situation, you might not see a Louisiana horse again in the Kentucky Derby. But almost every year you're seeing a horse in the Kentucky Derby, and the reason that Gail Benson would have bought it is because of the fact that she has got a lot of good stables. She's got a lot of good horses. She's in the horse business as well. And but now she's not the only guy in town now, or the only billionaire in town now. And the latest drawing, this was not from Forbes magazine, it was another deal of the richest people in the world. So you had Gail Benson at almost $9 billion. You had Gary Schwest, and I don't know if I'd believe this because Gary Schwest always was close to that $1 billion range.
Right.
He sells oil tools for the rigs out in the Gulf of Mexico, and he was the first. They started the drilling off the coast of Louisiana, Texas, and he was the very first to do that. So they said he's now worth $5 billion. They said Todd Graves, now, Jonathan, get this, $17 billion. That makes me happy because of the fact that if something were to happen with Gail Benson, or Gail Benson decides, look, okay, the last few years I want to go ahead and trade, I want to go ahead and sell the Saints and the Pelicans, either Schwest or Todd Graves would be right there to buy him. Schwest is a huge basketball fan. Remember, he bought controlling when it was the Hornets.
Oh, right.
Not controlling interest, but he bought a share in the Hornets with Shen. But he didn't have enough money to buy the whole team, and that's where Benson had to come through. But for, I say, buy the Pelicans, and Graves should be able to buy the Saints. That'd be great, right? Because you get to that point now when you sell a team, that you're afraid that who's going to buy them in Louisiana. So you got an outside guy that's going to buy them. There's a guy from Houston who loves to buy the Saints, wants to buy the Saints. I mean, that's where you move the team, though. You know, I mean, you wouldn't move it to Houston, obviously, but what about San Antonio, or what about one of these places? Austin, Texas still didn't have a team, and what have you. I think Jerry Jones is a good way to block that, though. I don't think you'll see another team in Texas at all. I think Jerry Jones is big on that. As long as Jerry Jones is alive, you're not going to see another team in Texas, in San Antonio or Austin, I don't think. But you want that to where those guys could step up to the plate and buy the Saints or the Pelicans. And remember, Jonathan, I told you that Alabama would not be the same. If this keeps going the way it's going, Alabama's not going to be the team anymore to dominate.
Right.
I must have been right, because now Greg Byrne, the athletic director for Alabama, is begging Nick Saban, I need help, because with that new collective bargaining agreement, I don't have the $20 million to pay these athletes. I don't know if you saw that. I don't have to.
I didn't.
You
see
need
that.
help. I need help. I told you they don't have a billionaire in the state of Alabama, and they don't have a Fortune 500 company.
Right.
They don't have big donors like other schools do. They're in trouble. Right now, they're in trouble. And now they're thinking about changing the sports betting to where they'll get some relief on that as well, to help them with that, to be able to get money. But right now, Alabama is wondering about how they're going to come up with $20 million to pay for all of their athletes. So that's going to be something interesting. I said that when I first saw that about Byrne. I said, uh-oh, I told you. I was right. And Nick Saban saw the writing on the wall. That's why Nick Saban got out. Hey, Alabama's not going to dominate anymore. They're not going to dominate anymore because they need help. And that state is going to need a lot of help. All right, we got more when we come back. Talking sports with me, Chris Powers. Jonathan's in the house. And, of course, Marty's in the house. Back in a moment right here on Pelican Sports TV.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
We're a nation of hardworking Americans, and businesses will always be the lifeline of this great country. As a business owner, you understand the importance of your reputation. In times of uncertainty, you need a real lawyer who's serious about protecting you and your business. You need a problem solver. You need the law firm of Clayton and Fouger. Tony Clayton is a proven trial lawyer. He'll defend you and your business to the fullest extent of the law. Protect your investment and call the law firm of Clayton and Fouger today.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonCountryClub.com.
If you're a wing lover like me, you already know where the best and biggest wings in Baton Rouge are. TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10. But did you know they also provide some of the best catering in town? Yeah. Their catering packages are custom built for parties and tailgates and overflowing with the tastiest barbecue you can find. Whether you go with the MVP package, the Heisman, or the Natty, you can't go wrong with TJ Ribs, because it's not just jumbo wings. They serve up truly tender beef brisket, perfectly roasted pulled pork, and smoky fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Don't forget the savory sausage and chopped beef. Come on down to TJ Ribs on Acadian and I-10, proud sponsors of the LSU Tigers and the Southern University Jaguars.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as we continue talking sports with me, Chris Powers, right here. And the show is seen 5 times a week all throughout Cox Cable. 89% of the New Orleans Metro has Cox Cable. About 360,000 in Baton Rouge and 140,000 in the Lafayette area. You could download the app or also watch it on the YouTube channel as well. But we're always here. All right, some other sports talking about. How about the Indiana Pacers trading their first-round pick to the New Orleans Pelicans for this year? That means that New Orleans will now have picks in the first round, 7 and 23. They will not have a pick in the second round. They also get a G League player in Mojave King. So Indiana trading their first-round pick for this year for their original first-round pick in 2026. Even though they're in the NBA Finals, they feel they can push back a little bit, and they'll need something for 2026 for the future. Jonathan, did you like this move right here?
Well, you get assets if you're the Pelicans. You don't really lose much. Yeah, the question is who they're going to get. Got to have help across the board. Big man, rim protector. Got to have some shooting to space the floor for Zion. We'll see who comes back if the all-star point guard from Atlanta comes back healthy this season. So, look, the Pelicans, they need a lot of help. No doubt about that. The starting 5 wasn't bad last year. 0 bench play. Then he dealt with injuries the entire season. So I like the move. Get picks, get these young guys in the building on rookie contracts. Hopefully they can contribute early. With the 7th overall, you should get a player that you can plug in right away. Lots of talent in the draft, obviously, from the U.S. college, but also overseas. I mean, you see Serbia, you see, you name it. Lots of countries are competing now with the NBA. So hope to get some big men and some shooters, but the Pelicans certainly need a lot of help.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but the last, was it 5 to 7 MVPs in the NBA?
Yeah,
or
right.
Not from America?
Right. Yep.
Oh, wow. Where was it invented? Who invented it? Naismith right here in the United States. Isn't that crazy?
Peach basket, is that how it went?
That's right. That's right. It just goes back to where Canada hadn't won one since 1993,
Yep.
where we're not winning MVPs anymore.
Right.
Now, they're changing it this year for All-Star. I didn't know this until a friend of mine just told me just as I was driving over here. They're changing it, American versus international players this year in the All-Star game.
Oh, I like that.
You like that?
Oh, I like that.
So
Yeah.
that's going to happen this year. So it ought to be interesting. But anyway, so we'll see what happens. Obviously, they still don't have a general manager for the New Orleans Pelicans right now. What's his who's the president now? Dumars. Joe Dumars.
Joe Dumars.
Is acting and doing all the business right now.
Yep.
And I love Dumars as a player. When he played for the Detroit Pistons. He's from Louisiana. He's a big Saints fan. He played a lot of his AAU basketball in New Orleans, so he's fitting right in. It's crazy. I don't know why. They're kind of redoing a little renovation of the Pete Maravich Assembly Center a little bit. This kind of shocked me a little bit because of the fact that, okay, they're going to start building the new arena here soon, and it's going to be on Gourier Avenue, if you know that, right across from Alec Box Stadium, where the golf course is now.
Right.
That's going to be the new arena. They were going to put it, I thought, further down the line, and we're going to make an entertainment district there. But they're going to put now the arena right there in Gourier Avenue. They're going to host all their athletic events, and whoever builds the arena, they're going to be allowed to do any concerts or any other events they want to. The LSU will not have control of that. They won't make the money for it either. It'll be from whoever builds that arena, and they're hoping to have it ready by 2029. But they haven't started yet. They haven't broken ground on it, so they got to get going at sometime soon. But they're renovating the PMAC a little bit, which kind of shocked me a little bit. But as they're doing that, they announced yesterday the 2025-26 opponents, SEC opponents for the LSU Lady Tiger basketball team. They're going to play Texas twice, in Austin and in Baton Rouge. Texas was the number 2 team. I think they're the number 2 team in the SEC, at least for last year, which proved me right. They're just not that way. They're not on that level of South Carolina. LSU is not. They were the 3rd best team. Now with the new players coming in for LSU and the returning players, does LSU overtake Texas this year? Be interesting to see. LSU will host Alabama, Florida, Missouri, South Carolina, and Tennessee. They will travel to Auburn, Georgia, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and Vanderbilt. So I hope that Kim Mulkey can bring a team. Have you given up on Kim Mulkey as far as another championship for LSU?
No, indeed. They'll be competing next year.
I think so. I think they've got a good team coming in. They've got a very good signing class. I think one of the best signing classes in the country. I think it ought to be good. Southern Football is having their annual football season ticket drive going on right now. You can call 225-771-3171. Jonathan, 7 road games.
Wow.
5 home games, but they're 5 very good home games. September 6th, they're going to host Jackson State. Alabama State will be the first one. That is September 6th. Alabama State really is the second best team right now in the SWAC from last year. Will they move up again this year? Be interesting to see. They're in the East, just like Jackson State is. Speaking of Jackson State, they're going to be here on the 27th in Baton Rouge. And Prairie View A&M, that's homecoming game, October 18th. I don't know if you've ever been to a homecoming game at Southern. It's unbelievable because the parade is that morning. Well, it's the first time they're going to move the parade to that Sunday before homecoming. It'll be October the 12th. I mean, think about LSU. They don't do their homecoming parade on the same day as their game. You can't get in. I'm telling you, Jonathan, you've been on the campus of Southern.
Yep.
It takes you 2 hours to get to the press box.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah.
And I told Coach next year I'm coming to where the team hotel is, and I'm following the caravan to the deal. And he said, "Come on." So I may do that next year because it's, oh my goodness gracious. FAMU is coming in. That's Florida A&M. That's October 25th, and that may be the last time we see Florida A&M for a while because they're in the East and they're coming off the schedule. So this may be the last time you see the Rattlers for a while. And the final game will be at Texas Southern on November the 15th at A.W. Mumford Stadium. The rest of the games are all on the road. You talked about the Jell-O shot. Let's give you the update from last night. The Jell-O shot. In first place, the LSU Tigers. Bunch of alcoholics in this state. Can you tell me? Look, I'm from Evangeline Parish, right? A friend of mine told me he was a general manager for one of the distributors, Budweiser distributors. They sell more Budweiser beer in Evangeline Parish anywhere per capita than anywhere else in the world. So we're a bunch of alcoholics. Woohoo! We're number one. 20,279 Jell-O shots at LSU. No one is near them. The closest one to them, Jonathan, is Murray State, which are gone.
Yep.
At 7,709. The next one, Coastal Carolina, they're still in it at 5,263. Arizona is at 1,741. Louisville at 1,769. UCLA at 1,401. They're gone. Arkansas is at 7,717. They're the closest one. They're over Murray State. And Oregon State at 1,808. So is that good or bad that we lead in the Jell-O shots that way?
You win everything you compete in, Chris. If you're not first, you're last. It sounds like Todd Grace has to go buy some shots. That guy's rolling in the dough.
Yeah, he's having fun, huh? A billionaire like that with his hat on next to Livy Dunn. Wouldn't you be sitting next to Livy Dunn if you could?
Yeah, I'd make sure I had a ride for her going back to the hotel, too.
All right, Jonathan, here you go. Does LSU get to the College World Series Finals?
They do, Chris. That's my opinion. They win tonight. No matter who's on the mound, LSU's playing very good baseball defensively. They're in every game because of that reason. They have good arms out the pin. 3 guys that they're over 100 that are all available. So I look for LSU to beat a weary Arkansas team. Never easy coming through the losers bracket. Of course, they had a huge break with the rain delay, and they had a pitcher throw a complete game, no-hitter, almost a perfect game, had 2 hit batters, but a phenomenal outing by Cage Wood. So, they got some luck, not only with the weather, but the performance of their pitches, but they're worn down, Chris. They had to go through a gauntlet to get here. I got LSU.
I got them going to the national championship as well, and I got them beating Coastal Carolina.
Boom.
We'll find out next week. We'll talk sports with me, Chris Powers. Until then, have a great day, everybody.
Rocks and fires. Tommy White with it. Johnson hits the